what you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
Foot Candle Films. Film news and reviews from two guys who really like movies.
This episode is brought to you by the Foot Candle Film Society. For a schedule of upcoming screenings and membership information, visit the Society's website at www.footcandle.org.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Foot Candle Films here on the Mesh.tv podcast network. My name is Alan Jackson. With me is Chris Fry. We are with the Foot Candle Film Society, the annual Foot Candle Film Festival, and here on this podcast of Foot Candle Films. Chris, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Been watching a lot of movies, which is good.
I don't understand. It's late December. It's getting close to the end of the year. I don't understand why you would be watching so many movies.
Right. I mean, it's just there's a lot to watch, but that's good because there's also a lot of good films to watch, so that makes it fun.
Well, here's the interesting thing: is that I have seen very, very few movies. So I think if you average us together, we probably have a healthy amount of movie watching. But you are definitely skewing the average more in that direction. For whatever dumb reason, Chris, I thought, oh, hey, if I own and operate a movie theater, I'll get to see movies so much more. No, actually, it does not work that way at all. It's quite the opposite. I have seen little tiny bits and pieces of many movies many times, but I've never seen an actual
you see the
full
opening
movie.
credits. And then,
I see opening credits when I'm testing. I see closing credits when people are coming out. And that's about it. And so I have to piece together my opinions of films based on just the opening 5 minutes and the closing 3-4 minutes. Probably not the best way to evaluate films. However, at least we have one film that we will be reviewing, both of us sharing thoughts on, that I have seen all the way through.
Okay.
So I can actually attest to this movie. We're going to be reviewing the film Hamnet. That is the latest film from director Chloe Zhao, starring Jesse Buckley and Paul Mescal. So we'll be talking about that film in just a moment. Also, we do have a second review of today's show, but it's going to be a little bit of a one-sided review, and that is of Avatar: Fire and Ash, the third in the Avatar series. Chris, you experienced all 3 hours and 17 minutes of this film.
I did.
You did. I did not. I have seen, again, little bits and pieces of that 3.5 hour spectacle. So I cannot attest or give any kind of review to it, but I'm going to turn it over to you later in the show and let you tell me all about it.
Okay.
Because I'm anxious to hear your thoughts. I know your opinion of the Avatar franchise going into the film screening, so I'm anxious to hear if this particular installment did anything to change that preconceived notion that you probably had going in.
Okay.
And let's see, what else do we have? We have a couple trailers to show. New Steven Spielberg movie we're going to talk about that's coming out later this year. Also, a new Naruto film with Tom Cruise. Kind of excited about that. So we're going to do a little teaser on that one. And then I think you have a recommendation also you're going to share with us at the end of the show.
Yes.
A film recommendation. Because, again, Chris has seen a lot of movies. And he has something to recommend to us. So with that, Chris, I say we get started. Let's get into our first review, which is the film Hamnet.
Is it true? You know everything about a person by touching them here?
Not everything. He's got more inside of him than any man I've ever met.
Who are you looking for?
William Shakespeare.
I have no talent for waiting.
The women in my family see things.
What do you see?
I see landscape, oceans,
You're having twins, my girl.
undiscovered countries. What do you wish to do, Hamnet?
I shall be one of Father's players.
Will you be brave?
Yes.
Will you be brave?
Please! When shall we three meet again?
Our children's hearts beat. They smile, play. Never forget for a moment They may be gone.
Mama!
My boy. He lives not.
Chloe Zhao's new film, Hamnet, tells the story of two people. You may have heard of at least one of them, William Shakespeare, his wife Agnes. They lose their son, Hamnet, to the plague. And then the rest of the film goes about the grief that they go through in 16th century England and how they cope with the death of their son. And you may be surprised that Shakespeare channels his grief into a play called Hamlet.
Mm-hmm.
Get it? The son's name was Hamnet.
Mm-hmm.
The play's name is Hamlet.
Right.
Which we are told in the beginning, kind of a graphic that comes up on screen, is apparently back in the 16th century, Hamlet, Hamnet, kind of interchangeable as names, which I was like, oh, okay, that was kind of good to know, because otherwise you'd be like, dude, that's kind of weird. But I guess back then, kind of interchangeable. In this film by Chloe Zhao, who Oscar winner for Nomadland, she has stars Jessie Buckley, Paul Mescal. Alan, what was your experience with this latest film from Chloe Zhao?
So I really dug this film.
Okay.
And I thought Hamnet was great. I think it is it's a deliberately paced film, really focused on, for me anyway, the environment around it. I think this is a film where I found myself feeling like the locations, the environments, the settings were all very comfortable and lived in and felt very authentic. And I think that really helped overall with the tone of the film and overall the delivery of the film. And I think you've got to, I'm going to go ahead and call it now. I mean, I think Jessie Buckley's got to win the Academy Award for best performance in this. It blew me away. I think she's always been good. I admire her as an actress, but this is a performance. I'm like, nah, this is hers. Like, just go. We don't even need the ceremony. We don't need the nominations.
Wow.
Just go ahead and do it now. It's fine. She's very, very, very good. And I'll also say a child actor that, those are tough performances, tough roles, especially in a period drama like this. But I think the name of
Jupe.
It's Jupe. It's the brother of another Jupe.
So there's Jacoby Jupe, who plays Hamnet, and there's Noah Jupe, his older brother, that plays Hamlet.
Right.
Yep.
So I was incredibly impressed with his performance as well in the film. And Paul Mescal's great as well too, but I think this is Jessie Buckley's show, and she's just a commandeering performance and presence on screen throughout the film. Beautifully shot, beautiful environments, making woods and forest in a kind of older rundown village, just lovely places to see a film take place. I don't know. It just all worked for me, Chris. I feel like maybe the ending is a bit belabored, possibly. Probably takes a little more time, a little more than it needs to get to where it's trying to go, but I still really appreciated it. So that's really the only kind of criticism I've got of it. So anyway, I'm a huge fan of the film. Chris, I do want to hear your thoughts on Hamnet, though. What did you think?
So overall, I liked it. I thought I would be a lot more, not overwhelmed, taken. I thought I would be a lot more taken with the film than I was. Not to say that it's not a bad film. Like I say, I liked it. But it was a lot more on the leaning more towards the average side of things than just like, I thought I was wowed by it. And maybe some of that has to do with the deliberate pace.
Yeah, it is slowly paced. Yeah.
And maybe some of that also is, I was aware of a play called Hamlet. So I kind of know where I feel like the film is going to end. And so therefore, it was kind of clever. Some of the hints at Shakespeare things, like his kids are running around kind of performing some things, and some of the dialogue that he kind of has them say, they're kind of like rehearsing kind of a little fun play for Shakespeare or for William and Agnes, his wife. But those come around to be kind of some of the things the witches say in Shakespeare. So cool. So that was kind of would make me wake up and take notice. But other than that, it was well acted, beautifully shot cinematography. And of course the production design of all the costumes and all that kind of stuff, all direction off on. But it just kind of, it seemed more normal, regular, tamped down than what I wanted from like a film that's probably going to be like one of my top 5 films of the year. Not to say it's bad. You talked about Jessie Buckley. Yeah, I think she's really good in this. And Paul Mescal, I feel like, interestingly, maybe more of her film than his.
Yeah.
Which I would not have thought.
Yes.
Because you figure William Shakespeare is going to be the focus, but it's about the couple going through grief, and he kind of, which is, it doesn't necessarily put Shakespeare up on a pedestal. He goes off to London to work on his plays.
He's gone a good bit of the film, yeah.
And so it leaves her to kind of still raise the kids, be alone, suffer with the grief, and she, gives him some crap for that.
Yeah.
And you talked about the ending, and I feel like, again, not a kind of a surprise where it's the performance of the play and how that's carried off. I think, and I've heard some, rumblings on the internet. No one says this is like a terrible film, but some people feel like maybe it tried to pluck the heartstrings too deliberately or hammer them home. And then specifically, they then point towards the ending like, yeah, it didn't work for me at all. Didn't buy. It worked for me, but something about I don't know. Something about it felt maybe a little.
No,
it was
a bit much. Even though this is a very deliberately paced film, it was playing its cards very, very, very visibly.
Yeah, sure.
A little too much.
Like telegraphed sometimes.
A little bit, and it was also, I thought, just drawn out and really long from an ending standpoint as well. And so there's that. But I mean, I love anything that's shot or recreated in kind of the original Shakespeare theater. So you have the outdoor theater.
Globe Theater. Yeah. Sure.
Yes. Like that to me is, all right, you're going to win me over if the scene is in this building automatically.
Sure.
And I will say, even though I thought the ending was a bit belabored, we talked about moments in films with Wake Up Dead Man.
Yes.
Kind of a favorite moment I had that you and I shared. Kind of a very emotional moment. I will say, even in the midst of this kind of longer belabored ending, with a stage performance and kind of the reaction of the crowds and people in the crowd, there is a moment though, Jessie Buckley, I'll just say, extending a hand out to someone else. I'm like, okay, all right. Even though I do feel like this is maybe a little overextended and a little overplayed, that moment, I'm like, all right, you got me. I'm good. Well, that actually should have been like, cut to credits and we're done. It's a good ending. Let it go.
And I'll kind of do a little bit of piling on. Yes, that moment worked, but then how the rest of the crowd reacts, I was like, oh, yeah,
right.
Okay.
That's when it kind of, when it beat the horse a bit.
Yeah,
and,
the scale kind of tipped to, okay, it's a little bit too much.
Right. I completely agree. That's why I say when one hand reaching out and touching, it's like, done, cut the credits, go to black, we're good. That's all I needed to see, and that made it work. But yeah, it kind of just piled on a little bit after that, and it was a little much, and went a little longer, and yeah, don't know.
I'm curious. I am not a Shakespeare scholar. Yeah, I did mention I was aware of a play called Hamlet before going to see this. I was curious if it was something of a dramatic device on the part of the filmmaker, and this is based also on a book, so I don't know if it was in the book, or whether it was actually true, that Shakespeare would sometimes be in the plays himself. I didn't.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, I didn't know that he would go. I mean, I know he wrote them, but I didn't know that he would actually be in them. Or is that true, or was that just specifically to kind of heighten some emotions that were going on with things that were going on in the play? So I don't know. I would be curious to know if that was true or not. Interesting. Yeah. There again, that kind of made me sit up a little bit like, oh, interesting. Yeah.
If I can just kind of mention Jessie Buckley
yes.
a bit more, because I feel like she needs a little bit more time
sure.
to talk about, the wide range of emotion she's having to play in this film and situations to go through. When we first see her, we kind of get a sense of her a little bit estranged home life. We get to know a lot about her as a character just by how she's out in the forest and what she's interacting with and what she's doing and what she's saying and acting. Anyway, she has so much to carry. She has to kind of create a tone for this film, a style for this film almost in her performance. And then it's almost like, the Shakespeare role is really more reacting to her in
sure.
many, many cases. And like you said, he's gone at times too. So,
sure.
It's not only do we let her carry the film as far as the overall personality of the film, we get to see her in all stages of emotions, absolute joy and happiness, at where she is in her life at one moment, and then absolute despair and agony at other points. And I bought every emotion she put up on the screen. So that's why I just think it was a really good performance. She had to carry it the whole film, in my opinion. And this film would not have worked, I don't think, with a performance that strong to carry us through. So anyway,
fair enough.
Yeah.
And I think you mentioned him. We talked about the Jupe brothers. Granted, Noah Jupe has a very small part at the very end.
Yeah,
but his younger brother Jacoby Jupe, who plays the young Hamnet, I think it was pretty impressive.
It's a very impressive young child performance to be in a period drama piece. And reciting dialogue that, if you saw that dialogue printed on the page, you're like, oh, this. No kid could do this and make this sound natural.
Right.
But this kid does.
Yeah.
And, I bought it. I bought that, yes, this is a kid back in this time period who is saying these things to his parents and is acting in this way. I'm like, yes, I totally buy it. So, yeah, it was a very impressive performances all the way around on this film. So,
and I thought it was... I think going in, I'd heard a little bit that they were the brothers, so I kind of knew the fact that they would be playing the same. I kind of knew a little bit, but it didn't bother me, and I thought it was kind of a really cool, because for some of the things to happen, for I guess Agnes's reaction at seeing the play, it makes sense that she would have more. She would have the reaction anyway because the play is called Hamlet. Right. But it helps that there was that magic trick of actually having brothers that obviously they are going to look alike. So
I will tell you. Unfortunately, if you've been listening to this review, obviously you are because you're hearing me say this right now as a listener. If you're listening to this, you automatically we're talking about Shakespeare. It is William Shakespeare. That's who Paul Mescal is playing in the film.
Yes.
However, I will say, if you have a chance to share this movie with someone who doesn't know that it's about William Shakespeare, I had that experience getting to watch it with people that had no idea what the movie was about. And they knew Hamnet sounded a lot like Hamlet. And I thought maybe there's something there.
Gotcha.
But the fact that they never are very terribly overt about it until really late in the film, when you start to realize, oh, wait a minute, this guy's going to England. They're talking about him setting up a theater. He's writing a lot of things like, okay, I get
That's who this guy is.
I get who we're talking about now.
Sure.
But I love the fact that you could honestly go into this film without any of that background. And I think it works extremely well, even if you don't know kind of what story it's trying to tell.
So I think that's an important point. Like with other films that we've seen, Shakespeare in Love is one that comes to mind. But other films that are in this time period deal with Shakespeare, and often when you have key figures in history, it's like everybody around them is treating them like, oh, this is Shakespeare. But at the time, people wouldn't necessarily treat them that way. It's like, they kind of have this sense of this guy's work is going to be remembered forever. Yeah, but the people back then wouldn't have known that.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, he is treated much like just a regular dude.
With father issues, family issues, with,
right. marriage struggle, people thinking he's a worthless and all that kind of
yeah.
stuff. Like, yeah. So that was kind of a perspective too. So I could see how somebody watching it, which is a good thing. Somebody watching this, they're like, "Oh, this is William Shakespeare, capital W, capital S." No,
no,
it's just like, no, it's a guy.
It's Will. I mean,
It's
that's
Will.
really that's actually how he's listed in the credits. It's like it's Will. And
Gotcha.
I think that's great too, because again, I actually think it's more impactful if you start to realize over the course of the film, oh, this is William Shakespeare. Okay, that's kind of cool. And not knowing that from frame one, I think is actually a better way to experience this. Wish I could go back in time and not know that. That's
It would have been interesting for me to see it as well. I think probably when they had the kids running around doing like the scene,
that would have been
like,
a nice
wait
little
a second.
That's a little bit of that's a tease, but that's like halfway through the movie. So it's like,
Sure.
you're at that point, just like you've just been following two really interesting characters, and they're seeing their relationship build, and it was interesting.
Me being, we've done this podcast for many years now. Listeners know, not the biggest fan of period pieces.
Yeah.
So it probably actually helped lure me in, the fact that it did have something to do with Shakespeare and everything.
Okay,
because
so it was like
otherwise,
actually an
otherwise,
attraction to you.
Yeah, making me interested in just a period piece that's like 2 hours long and be like, meh,
Yeah.
But having that hook did help like lure me in. So, and I think, I also had heard a lot of buzz coming off the festival circuit. It was like Hamnet.
Mm-hmm.
So then when I finally got to see it, maybe a little bit of expectation, but
Right.
kind of falling short of that. But Jessie Buckley, absolutely, she's great.
Yeah, I mean, that's him. I think, I don't really have much else to say about it. I think it was a very, very good movie. I mean, again, if I had to call it, yes, the cinematography, the production design of the sets and locations, and just the environment you got placed in, and then Jessie Buckley's performance, I think that made the film. If it weren't for those elements, I mean, if it was relying on just story and pacing, it would have been a tougher sell as a film. But I think it did have those elements that made it work really well for me. So,
I'll be interested to see. I think she will definitely be one of the nominees, but as you try to maybe cram in a couple more films, I'll be interested to see if you think her performance is as strong as, say, Renette Rensief in Sentimental Value or Anna Seyfried in Testament of Anne Lee.
Those are
Because
two I have not seen.
Big ones.
So that's why I'd say, I'm just going to stop watching movies now. And I'm saying, nope, this is the
Jessie
one that ought to
Buckley gets
win.
it.
Nope,
She gets it.
I don't want to see any others because I don't want to get distorted in my opinion.
Fair enough.
I need to give the other ones a fair shake. We will be screening and possibly talking about Sentimental Value here at some point. We already have that one on the docket. Testament Fan Lee just came out. I know we've got access to see it through screener links, but I am anxious to see that one also. So the door is still open. Jesse, I apologize. It's not a complete slam dunk 100% for you.
It's not a home
I'm just saying if the awards were to be given out this afternoon,
Sure.
I would give it to you. So
Fair enough.
all right. All right. You got anything else to say on Hamnet? I mean, I'm good. I liked it quite a bit. It sounds like I liked it a little more than you, but you might have been facing some unfair expectations, and sounds like the ending, it didn't work as well for either of us. Sounds like it was a little more distracting for you.
Right.
So on things and the pacing of it to get there. So.
But not to make did make the film terrible. And I will say, Chloe Zhao, like having done The Rider, having done Nomadland, having done The Eternals,
Yeah.
and now doing this, she's a really interesting, capable director that kind of just goes all over the place. So I'm really curious. At one point, I think I'd heard that she was thinking about doing like a vampire film.
Mm-hmm.
So
I would be totally down with that.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm just really curious what to see she does next.
You're right. I mean, you look at all four of those films you mentioned, and I mean, they are all deliberately paced. Even The Eternals. I mean, that's the thing. Is for a Marvel superhero movie, it was a more of a deliberately paced endeavor than other films would be.
Absolutely.
But I think it's just, I love the fact that she plays in so many different genres and time periods and settings and makes it all work.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, she seems like she really knows the world that she is filming. And there again, I felt like she knew this village. She knew these people in this area, which is great. So no, I love Chloe Zhao. I think she's one of our top 10 filmmakers working at the moment, as far as like modern filmmakers, and always anxious to see what she does next. So that'd be great. Yeah. All right. Well, that is Hamnet. I know it came out in close to wide release. It's playing in a lot of theaters nowadays. At least I think it started release in mid-December, or limited release. But it's playing in more theaters than I kind of expected it to.
Around this time of year, stuff like that, stuff like Hamnet is really tough. And I mentioned I threw out Sentimental Value, and I also threw out Testament of Van Lee. Stuff like that's really tough because obviously things like, we'll get to it, Avatar, Fire and Ash, they take up a lot of oxygen in the theater universe. And so smaller films don't really get a chance to, hit a lot of theaters because they're trying to juggle things like, the bigger films like Avatar. But Oscar nominations will help that. So if you're in somewhere where you haven't seen these films yet that Alan and I are talking about, if they get nominated, don't worry. Theaters will then bring them.
Especially in that late January time period. Right. We find a lot of theaters will try to bring in films that start to get nominated and get some buzz and bring it back. And so I hope Hamnet gets some good exposure in theaters in the next month or so, because it will be getting talked about at Oscar time. I feel pretty. I think this is going to have a Best Picture nomination. I think Jessie Buckley will be a Best Actress nomination. I want to say Chloe Zhao might get Director nomination. I don't know. We'll see.
Do you think Jacoby Jupe could get Supporting Actor?
Oh, that would be awesome. I don't think it's going to happen, but I would love it. I would love if it did.
Sure.
So, yeah. Okay. Well, that is Hamnet, still playing in some theaters around you, but you may have to go search a little bit more to go find it, but we do recommend checking it out. All right, Chris. Before we go to break and do trailers and other news, let's talk about let's talk about the Na'vi in the room. Isn't that the race of people in Avatar? Mm-hmm. Okay, so Avatar: Fire and Ash, the third installment of the James Cameron epic saga that started. When did the first Avatar come out? It was like, it was 15 years ago, 10, 12 years ago.
First Avatar, 2009.
Okay, so 16 years ago. And there was a huge gap of time between the first one and then the second one, Avatar: The Way of Water.
Yes.
A little shorter time now between Way of Water and Fire and Ash, the third one.
3 years, because Way of Water was 2022. So
right, okay, so 3 years in between. So it's they're coming out a little faster clip. Chris, before I get to hearing your thoughts on this film.
Yes.
James Cameron has come out. He came out like right before opening weekend and basically said, and I don't know if he's partially joking or just trying to hedge his bets a little bit with this film. There's always been plans that there are going to be 5 of these Avatar movies. He came out and made a kind of a press announcement and said, look, the success of this whole series is going to really depend on whether or not this third one makes money or not. And he said, if it doesn't do as well, and he said, I'll stop the whole thing and I'll just hold a press announcement and tell you what the plots would have been for number 4 and 5. That's seriously where he is. It's like he's basically laying it out there saying, if this thing doesn't make the kind of money that it needs to make, he will just scrap his plans and he will just go out and tell us, oh, this is what would happen in 4 and 5 and be done. So, Chris, I'm turning it over to you. Given having seen the third one, do you want James Cameron to just cut it loose and just spoil the endings of the other two? Or do you have some passing interest now or any renewed interest in seeing this saga continue based on number 3?
I want James Cameron to hold a press conference and tell us the plots of Avatar 4 and 5 to see if I even want to bother seeing them. I don't care whether or not they make them or not, but I would really appreciate him telling me, because if you've seen Avatar: The Way of Water, I feel like you've seen Avatar: Fire and Ash.
I felt that way with the first Avatar and then The Way of Water.
For me in this film, there wasn't, other than, you do have the ash people. So there's a lot of fire imagery. So replace water imagery in the second film with fire imagery in this film. And that was pretty much it. plus I got really confused because people would be running around in certain groups, then all of a sudden they wouldn't be together, and then all of a sudden they wouldn't be running around together. It was like little fight. Okay, now we're running around this terrain. Okay, now we're back together and we're fighting again. Okay, now we're split apart. And it was just like, I got so bored that I don't remember, at least with Way of Water, I felt like there were maybe a couple of more story beats that they were trying to hit, and like the battles seemed more unique or like separated, whereas this was just 3 hours and 17 minutes of kind of the same. Just like they fight, they run away, they get back together, they fight, they run away. Was so bored. And I remember, because I went back and looked in Letterboxd, that I was irritated at the character of Spider. Now, Spider, just recall for me, because it's been 3 years since I've seen an Avatar movie. Sure. And even then, I was not totally engaged with it. And blocked it all out and forgotten most of it.
Spider is the human?
Yes. That has
younger guy human in the film? Okay.
That has to wear a mask because he can't breathe the air on Pandora. I'm surprised I remembered that.
Okay.
And, you know, God bless Jack Champion, who plays Spider. I do not blame him, but I remember, let's talk about another film that some people really hate, The Phantom Menace. And specifically in The Phantom Menace, people can't stand Jar Jar Binks.
Yes.
When I saw that film back in 1999, I liked it a lot. Jar Jar Binks was irritating, but he didn't derail the film for me. I didn't want to like punch his face every time he appeared on screen. Spider, like every time he appeared on screen, I was like, oh no, please don't say anything. Please don't
please
do anything.
don't say anything.
I just
Spider.
like, he can be in the background. I'm not going to hold that against him. He's, you know, in the story. He's part of the family that's running around. But it was so terrible. And like the film, kind of some of the plot is, you know, focuses on Spider. And I was like, ugh. If I could know for a fact that Avatar 4 and 5 would have nothing to do with Spider, I'd be like, cool. That would make me care about them. But
not that I want to spoil the end of this film because I haven't seen it. I don't know the ending.
Okay.
But am I to assume that Spider is still around at the end of the movie? Okay. So you want to hear from James Cameron, him do a press conference, say, oh, and by the way, Avatar 3.5, in between movies that I'm not going to release, Spider's gone. He's done.
No. I just don't want him to be the main focus of the plot because the whole thing is him struggling to become part. You know, he's kind of an outsider because he is human. He's not Navi or whatever, and it's just his parentage, which is talked about in Avatar 2. Don't know if you remember that. The big bad guy in Avatar Quaritch. I think that name is irritating anyway. He's Spider's dad. Okay. So there's a little bit of, you know, will Spider turn bad or whatever. And I looked back at my Letterboxd review. I was like, man, if Avatar 3 is Spider turning bad, I'm all on board.
You'd be down with that. If he broke bad and
spoiler, he doesn't break bad. Okay, he hangs out with Sully or Jake, I guess is his name, and Natiri, who's like his partner, or his wife, and and there again, so many different characters, and they kept adding new ones, and I couldn't care less. Yeah. Now, you know, maybe this film just isn't for me, and the young people maybe are really like it and can't wait for 2 more films. But for me, I would want to feel like there was something unique about Avatar 4 other than, okay, this time we're going to run around and it's going to be at it's going to be the land, or, you know, the ice planet,
right?
Or ice
Which
castles.
I guess that would be the next one.
I guess, or maybe it's sand, you know?
Right.
But if they did, I would just be like, no, I need something more than a different environment.
Yeah.
To make me interested in this, because the plot overall is non-existent. Now, let's have Chris say something positive.
Okay, sure. Say something positive, Chris.
The visuals in this film are still, you know, awesome to look at.
Okay.
But it's like, I don't play video games, unfortunately, anymore. I wish I had the time. It'd probably make me dizzy anyway because I'm like old man Chris. But when I used to play video games, which is more interesting, to play the game or sit and watch someone else play a game for 3 hours? It's like, well, no, you would want to have another controller in your hand and be. So it's like, yeah, it looks really good. But after a while, you're like, I need something more than just cool visuals, because how many fight scenes can you see that are going to be cool? Well, maybe one or two, but after a while, you're like, okay, I need some differentiation. And the integration, which is still fascinating and well done, of, let's say, Spider, who is obviously human and, a real person, real actor, Jack Champion. Hope you go on to a career after this and you have a lot of success. But him having to act with, in front of a green screen in all these environments, and sometimes like they do things with like water, and you can tell the water's really there. All very, innovative, and you still can't really figure out how they do some of it. So I'll give James Cameron that. Technically, yes. I just wish someone else wrote the story,
Yeah.
Because he's one of the writers. And granted, he did have some, Rick Jaffa and Amanda Silver also were contributing to the story. But, like, he's a talented filmmaker. He can direct things. He has a vision. I get it. I just wish he would adapt somebody else or do somebody else's work, I guess. So I've heard, I didn't hear the fact that he said he was going to do a press conference and talk about Avatar 4 and 5, but I did hear him say something like he was considering returning to the Terminator world, but it would not be, Arnold Schwarzenegger would not be in the film. It would somehow be like in that world. But
well, I mean, looking back, I admired the first Avatar. I gave it a pretty favorable review, because I felt like I did enjoy the story mechanics of the first Avatar. And the visuals were amazing, and I thought the action set pieces were really thrilling. So, no, I did enjoy Avatar. I didn't love it.
Sure.
But I did think it was a really good film. But I saw a huge drop off in Way of Water, where it just, I didn't feel, I can't tell you anything that happened in that movie.
Did you remember that Quaritch was the dad of Spider?
No. I didn't remember Spider. No, I mean, really, I don't remember anything from that movie.
You are blessed. That
no,
you didn't
seriously,
remember
I'm like trying to think back, like what even happened? I can tell you what happened in the first Avatar.
Okay.
I remember the main plot beats.
Yeah, that it had plot beats. There was a story there. And I felt like the second movie didn't really have it. And if you don't think the second movie had a story, well, buckle up, because the third one really does.
And Chris, that's why I'm telling you, I don't think I'll be watching the third one.
I don't think you're going
for a couple reasons. One, being a movie theater owner manager now, I kind of have a resentment towards Avatar, because it is a 3.5 hours consuming of a screen that
and that 3 hours 17 minutes without any trailers or anything. So then you add trailers, and it's, I guess,
and I'm committed to a certain amount of time that we're to show this film that I'm a little reluctant about, but it is what it is. So I think from that standpoint, like, look, it's making enough money. If it's meant to continue on, because people do. I mean, look, I talked to people who came out of the movie. There's a lot of people who love this movie.
Okay,
they love it. This is their thing. It's like they get it. It's not mine, and I know it's not yours.
And I'm glad you pointed that out. I don't go into this movie. You and I, when we review movies on here, we don't purposely pick movies that we're going to hate or despise. Right. And I don't enjoy like knocking down films. I wanted to like Avatar: Fire and Ash because like you, I was generally favorable in the first one. Second one, not so much, but I was like, you know what? Let's see what he can do with this third one. Let's see. And I'm like, oh man, I just
you want Avatar to be successful.
Yeah,
because I mean the background behind it, and James Cameron, and somebody who's
I like
done
a lot
so
of his
much
other
of
films.
Movies that have shaped so much of our film history. You want this to succeed. It's like it was a passion project for him. Something he was like really pushing the boundaries on filmmaking and all. I'm like, yes. Do it. Awesome. As soon as I saw the second one, it was like, okay, well, if this is all we got, then I got nothing else for
Yes, I just feel like there's not enough steam left for a 4 and 5, but we'll see.
Okay, well, thank you for taking one for the team and going to see the film. I did not have any high expectations. You have reconfirmed for me that I am okay to pass on this.
And
it will not be making any end of year lists for me, so I don't need to worry about it.
I don't think so. Yeah. Other than like visual effects, but I will say, we sometimes we can really boil down reviews, and this is because it is a sequel, because it is a franchise. If you liked the first two Avatars, then by all means, you're probably going to like this. So, if this is in your wheelhouse, then
if you've bought into the storyline and you are okay with seeing another iteration of this franchise, then, great. Yeah, again, I think they're obviously, look, it's still making tons of money. So people love it.
And I don't know
people like it, right. Or at least, or people feel obligated to see it. I don't know. It's one of those. I'm not quite sure how much of it is obligation versus true enjoyment and anticipation for the film.
Sure.
I don't know. Anyway. All right. Well, that is Avatar, Fire and Ash. Kate Winslet was in this.
She plays, I think she was in Way of Water. I think she plays one of the water, one of the, like the queen of the water world, or like one of the leaders of the water world. I think. But there again, like,
don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. And okay. That's the other thing is like, you have Kate Winslet, you have Sigourney Weaver, Sam Worthington, Zoe Saldana. You have like, some names here, but because they all just they're all these like, Na'vi, you kind of just, they all blur together. So, I don't know.
Okay. Avatar, Fire and Ash. Chris is not a fan, but we are also recognizing that this movie may be for some people that are not sitting around this podcast table at the moment. And that's cool too. But it's just not our cup of tea, not our thing, not our bag, I guess you could say.
And hold a press conference and tell me that you're backgrounding Spider for 4 and 5, and maybe I'll be on board.
Then Chris will be back on board for number 4. He'll be early ticket purchaser for number 4 if you make that announcement, Mr. Cameron. Okay, now let's take a quick break. We come back. We got a couple trailers to watch, and we've got a recommendation from Chris to hear. So stay tuned. You're listening to Foot Candle Films. We'll be right back in a minute.
Want to discover great podcasts or maybe even start one of your own? Welcome to The Mesh, Western North Carolina's podcast network built for creators and listeners alike. From local sports and business to comedy and culture, The Mesh is home to unique voices and fresh perspectives. Do you have something you want to say? The Mesh can help you bring your podcast to life with the tools, support, and platform you need to be heard. Check us out at themesh.tv, where great podcasts live and new ones are born.
Hello, welcome back to Foot Candle Films here on the Mesh.tv podcast network. Alan Jackson, Chris Fry, back here with you. We had our discussion of Hamnet, positive, good, liked it, and then Chris's review of Avatar, Fire and Ash. Not the biggest fan.
No.
Just leave it at that. Okay, Chris, let's talk about some movies that maybe we'll be big fans of this year. I don't know, but both of these films had at least a teaser / trailer come out in the last week. These are going to be, one of them is going to be a very big release for late summer of 2026. The other one, I don't know how it's going to perform or be received wise, but I'm incredibly intrigued by it. So let's talk about these two films.
Okay.
First up, we have Disclosure Day. Now, this is the new Steven Spielberg film. The title was just, quote, disclosed, I think, really in the last week, along with the trailer, because, again, I love the little bit of backstory I can throw into this. We're sent at the movie theater here, we are sent trailers on a hard drive in advance that are queued where they could only be played or shown starting on a certain day.
Gotcha.
And the title for the one that came in was Untitled Spielberg Film. I mean, that's what was printed on the actual file of the drive. So it's like, yeah, my understanding is they were keeping this title pretty under wraps until basically the week or so before this teaser comes out.
And I was
actually
aware,
it had a different name before.
Yeah, I was aware because I try to have a list of films that I'll be publishing shortly for like my top anticipated films for 2026. And a film by Steven Spielberg was on there, but at this time it was called The Dish.
So they obviously rethought that name.
Right.
Went with Untitled for a while, Mysterious Untitled, and now they have announced it is called Disclosure Day. Now, all I know about this film is what is in this teaser. I knew it was a science fiction film. That was at least teased when you talked about it being The Dish.
Yeah.
And I think we knew that Emily Blunt was in it.
I believe so. Yeah.
That was about all I think we really had going with it.
I think so, yeah.
So here we have this, they call it a teaser, but I think it seems to be a fairly decent trailer for the film. It is a science fiction film. There seemed to be some implication of aliens.
Yes.
Of course, all the buzz online, people are just like, "Oh, is this a unofficial Close Encounters or follow up or sequel?" And I'm like, I don't even want to hear those kind of theories or thoughts because I don't want anything skewing this experience. But there are some shots and visuals that like, okay, maybe he's dipping his toe back into that well a little bit with this whole alien thing. We'll see. Anyway, here's the teaser trailer for Disclosure Day, and we'll catch up with it on the backside here.
If you found out we weren't alone, if someone showed you, proved it to you, would that frighten you?
Good morning, Kansas City. Let's take a look at today. Today is today's.
People have a right to know the truth. It belongs to 7 billion people.
What is it?
You wouldn't believe me if I told you. So I'm going to show you.
All right. So that was the trailer for Disclosure Day by Mr. Steven Spielberg.
Yes.
We had Emily Blunt, Josh O'Connell, which we've had the joy of talking about with Wake Up Dead Man, how much we enjoyed his performance there. So I was a big fan of his in Challengers as well. So
yeah, he's kind of like, I feel like he's one of the it men right now. Yeah, he's like a big actor right now.
But Chris, your just take on this. I mean, I know it's early. I know this is like our first glimpse at this film, but is anything working for you on this?
Yes, a lot is working. The creepiness, you heard it there in the trailer, of this like seemingly like a clicking voice or something that kind of, maybe it's the voice of an alien or whatever. Very unnerving and disconcerting. Very effective for me. The seeming, like, the title with the title Disclosure Day. So, there's going to be a reveal that there are contact with aliens or something's going on, and all the, the scenes of like the government trying to cover it up, all that kind of stuff. Effective. The one thing that kind of concerns me is the imagery I saw of CGI animals.
Well, can we just broaden it out to say, just for me, CGI in general?
Okay.
Yeah, but yes, okay.
Specifically the animals.
There are animals, CGI animals. Yes. Two things I did not like in this trailer.
Okay.
I don't think, I hate even saying this because obviously Jurassic Park was like an amazing feat with CGI, but I don't like it when Spielberg uses CGI more than he needs to. And he hasn't had that many times where he's had to. I mean, Minority Report obviously had a lot of CGI. Jurassic Park obviously was, kind of a big milestone in the CGI world, but the shots in this trailer that get me excited are all the more natural shots that I'm used to seeing with Spielberg. Anytime you weave in these CGI animals that we're seeing, or this, I'm like, I'm not digging it. I don't have a good feeling about it.
I understand, and I am concerned there with you. The one thing I'll say, my hope is that there is a scene in the trailer where a bunch of deer are all kind of like, not just one or two, but like, 12 or whatever. I didn't count, but they're kind of staring down to humans. Now, not knowing the plot of the film and how important like animal interaction is or something, if there is some type of key point that like, okay, there's no way we can train 12 deer to like stand there and do all that. So if it's really a necessity, then I'll be like, well, maybe it kind of works. Not knowing the framework of the film, maybe it's like, well, here's the reason we had to do that, because just like we couldn't have dinosaurs walking around,
right? Yeah.
We have no option. So
maybe that's what it is.
So
maybe it's the fact that these are animals. I mean, we could get the animals.
We have animals.
I know it's a pain to get them trained or to find ways to put them in the shots and make them do what you want to do, but we still have animals. We didn't have dinosaurs, so yeah, you got to use CGI for dinosaurs.
So if there's some like if there's a plot point that makes sense, other than just trying to make like everybody loves animals, you know, if there's a reason, then I'll maybe give it a buy. And there again, sometimes when you're in the midst of a film, you can kind of buy into stuff. So it does raise a red flag, an area of concern. But I'm still interested. I'm very interested to see it.
Well, another thing, I'll tell you, I'm very concerned about this film.
Okay.
Just because you mentioned the clicking noise and all that, which the noise is very unsettling and very effective. The way it's incorporated into the trailer through Emily Blunt's character, I thought looked dumb and just, it does not work for me. It's the noise is, I get it. You know, again, this is why I think people are evoking the whole Close Encounters thing, because Close Encounters, like noise and the sound, especially with the musical notes, was kind of like this iconic way of representing dialogue with the aliens. Well, now here we have another film where there's aliens and there's some government intrigue involved. I don't know about disclosing it or how much the public knows, very much like Close Encounters and all that. And then there's even crop circles kind of pattern, another CGI shot, which again, I'm like,
oh, I like that.
I mean, that one I get because I don't know how else you do that otherwise. So.
Sure.
But the whole Emily Blunt's character's mouth just slightly moving and those noises emitting from her, it looked really stupid. So, I mean, I like the sounds, but a lot about this trailer has me very concerned.
Well, so specifically how they have Emily Blunt start, she's a really good actress. I like her in a lot of stuff. But it starts off and she's like this weather forecaster lady and she's like talking and she starts to like kind of stumble over it. And you're like, something about it seemed false. I was like, yeah, that I don't buy that. There's like this lack of confidence, something, but then it's like, oh, it's not under her control. It's like she's being possessed and the clicking start. And then, so for me, it then worked it was like a transition to like, it was. So for me, that actually kind of worked. I don't know. I hope, and there again, like we always want to see good movies. We're always hoping for the best. I'm still excited for Disclosure Day.
I'm curious and I'm hopeful, but I also am. My expectations are tempered.
I got you.
Just because I think, I don't know, if it's something where it's like we're going to try to recapture some of the Close Encounters magic. Great. If it's an homage to his Close Encounters days, even if it's a spiritual follow up that's like not really a sequel, but just kind of a in the same world type of thing. All right, all that's cool. I'm good with any of that. Just. I think Spielberg has been really good at dramas in recent years. And I think even with West Side Story, he was really good with musical and a dance and musical production.
Okay.
What's the last...
Has he done something since...
What's the last spectacle type movie, War of the Worlds?
Oh, okay.
Has there been anything since then that was... Well, he did a movie called AI, obviously.
Sure. But yeah, spectacle. Yeah, I'd have to, timeline wise, I'm not sure what his most recent one was. And but it wasn't spectacle. I really liked The Fabelmans, but that wasn't
right. But that wasn't. Yeah, exactly. Fabelmans, great.
Yeah, I really liked that.
I thought Bridge of Spies was good for a good. I thought The Paper. Well, no, The Post. The Post was also. Again, that's the world he's really excelled in. He's got these more character-driven dramas that he's really good at nowadays.
So it worries you that, we agree, capable directors, but kind of like he doesn't really have anything new to say about the sci-fi. So he's kind of returning and just kind of doing a reprise.
Maybe.
That concerns you. Yeah.
It's a little bit. Little bit.
I could see that.
Yeah. And again, I always get concerned when I feel like there's an over-reliance on CGI, and there was a few too many shots of CGI animals that seem to be pivotal to the point, the plot. And I'm like, that's concerning. Okay.
Gotcha. Fair enough.
All right. But hey, we'll see. It comes out in June. So we only have 6 months to wait and see what's going on with that. That'll be disclosure day. Okay. Let's talk about one that all I ever want to see about this movie is this teaser. I don't want to see anything else because I'm already excited and I don't want to know anything more. This is a film that also went under a different name up until just recently. My understanding is the name of the film working title was Judy. It's Judy, person's name.
Okay.
Has now been renamed to Digger. And Digger is a film by Alejandro Inarritu and starring Mr. Tom Cruise. So right away, you had my interest at Inarritu, and then you tell me that Tom Cruise is now starring it. I'm like, okay, this is now very, very interesting to me.
And me not being the biggest fan of Tom Cruise, well, specifically Tom Cruise Mission Impossible movies, those have little or no interest. But he is a movie star, so for him to agree to do an Inarritu movie, I'm like, okay, that's interesting.
Yes. Well, exactly. That's why, I'm very excited. Sure. And then they release this teaser for this film that tells you next to nothing, but is all about vibe and style, which is fine. That's what a teaser trailer ought to do. Like, just tell me the vibe of this film.
Sure.
And then I'm going to look forward to watching it. So this is the teaser trailer for Digger. I know it's coming out. Oh, I had it on my release schedule because as soon as I saw this teaser, I'm like, okay, it's on the schedule. Digger is supposed to come out. Oh gosh, I thought I had it on there. Oh, it's not till October.
Oh, wow.
So we still got a ways on this.
Yeah.
But let's check out this 1 minute little teaser and we'll talk about it on the backside here. Because I know this is an audio podcast and you're only hearing the music and sounds from it. The words that came up on the screen is a comedy of catastrophic proportions. And visuals is Tom Cruise, but appears to be having some prosthetic makeup going on and
to be an old man,
thinning hair, older man, basically dancing and grooving with a shovel on a dock or a pier. And and the visuals, the movie poster is basically, it's cowboy boots and a shovel kind of is the vibe we're getting here. So, Chris, is this get anything going for you here?
So we'd already talked about the things that before we even saw the trailer, the names involved. So that has me interested. But then viewing the trailer, Inarritu is a visual stylist. I mean, and the visuals of the trailer look great. Just the colors and just the cinematography looks great. But then also the fact that it is supposed to be a comedy with Tom Cruise in an Inarritu film doing it. And it looks like to be an original thing written by Inarritu and some others. I couldn't catch their names because they came across way too quick. Original work, a comedy. Just the song is pretty catchy that they have playing. Yeah, it seems to be firing on all cylinders. I am interested.
So here's a question for you, and you can answer yes or no on this.
Okay.
Do you want to hear the one-line synopsis of this film, and or do you want to hear the other cast involved in this film, or would you rather not know any of that? Granted, it's a one-line synopsis.
Yeah,
it doesn't spoil the film, but it does kind of tell you more about it.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm gonna by the time I see this, if it's not coming out till October,
you'll be around to it.
I'm gonna know anyway.
So here's the synopsis line.
Okay.
The most powerful man in the world embarks on a frantic mission to prove he is humanity's savior before the disaster he's unleashed destroys everything.
Interesting.
Yep. Okay. And now some of the other casts in this film. We already have Tom Cruise, who plays Digger Rockwell.
Okay.
All right. Riz Ahmed.
Okay.
James Dryden. John Goodman.
Oh. Okay.
Sandra Hüller. And there was somebody else. Hold on. No, maybe that was it.
Okay. Yeah. And R2 like interesting.
That's it.
Interesting cast. Riz Ahmed, John Goodman, Sandra Hüller. Yeah. Just who was there was one name I didn't recognize.
James Dryden. You'd recognize him if you saw him.
Okay.
Is this guy?
Oh. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. He's James. Yeah, he's been in a lot of movies, but
sure, he's kind of that guy.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, John Goodman, I'm always down for that. Riz Ahmed, I think is good. Yeah, so Bern Gorman, Bern Gorman. Again, another character actor you would recognize. This guy.
Oh, yeah.
I know that he was in the Pacific Rim movies. He was in Frankenstein.
Yeah.
He was in Beetlejuice. He was the pastor.
Yes,
in the church.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, it's an interesting cast.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we will see October.
Yeah, and curious scheduling wise too. To me, I would think it'd be more of like a summer release, but having it come out in October, there again, you get to wonder like, okay, are they thinking this is? I wouldn't think award worthy, but I don't know. Haven't seen it. Don't know the story. So I don't know. So if the curiosity meter or interest level, yeah. Disclosure Day, I'm interested, but this one I am really interested in.
Right.
Not being that big a fan of an R2's previous film, Bardo. Wasn't that big on, but yeah, curious.
I will say this is exactly what I wanted Tom Cruise to do after the Mission Impossible movies were done. So yes,
good job, Mr. Cruise.
This is all I need him to do now for the next however many years of his career. He's done the action franchise. I think he's buttoned that up. I think there's probably going to be another Top Gun movie. Sure.
Based on how much money.
Yeah, and that's fine. Okay, squeeze that one in just to kind of get that one little squeeze out of that.
There have only been two, as opposed to how many Mission Impossible. So
I'm
fair.
Totally fine with him doing a third one because I am on record. I really liked Top Gun Maverick, and I thought it was fun. And
I liked it better than I thought I would.
Yeah, so I'm okay if he did a third one of those because there's obviously an audience for it and people want it, and I think he could really play the older. Much older version of Maverick as kind of the more advisory role than anything, and let the other younger ones kind of flourish from there. Anyway, I'm fine with that, but I want him to make these kind of films like Digger, all the rest of the time.
Sure,
just pair up with an interesting director and just make weird stuff or very unique stuff.
Tom Cruise paired with an interesting director and an interesting script. Perfect example. My favorite thing he's ever done was Magnolia with Paul Thomas Anderson. So yeah, I get irritated at just like the Mission Impossible stuff. However, I'm more on board with
Well,
this
you
stuff.
take what he did in Magnolia. I still think the what he did in Tropic Thunder is still amazing. And if that's him in prosthetics getting to kind of play a whole very different character, it's like that gives me any hint of where he might go with this. I mean, great, awesome. Yeah. So no, when he pairs up with some interesting directors, I think he does interesting work for sure.
Agreed.
So we will see. All right, Chris. I think I'm done with the news.
Okay.
That's all we had to cover there. So I think we're at the last part of our show where you regale us with a recommendation of a film that you think is worth our time checking out. Because again, Chris, I'm framing this now as that my time has become limited.
Sure.
I can only squeeze in a couple of movies here and there. So tell me, what film do you think I should put on my watch list, or anybody else listening should do that here in the middle of this holiday season.
So there are several films I would recommend that people need to get, but a lot of them aren't available yet. You'd have to like go to theaters. So I'm going to recommend one that people can catch up with at home.
Okay.
It's streaming on HBO Max. It is The Alabama Solution. It's a documentary, and I think it will probably be in conversation for one of the 5 picks that the Academy puts up for Best Documentary. I think, but you never know. The story is incarcerated men defy the odds to expose a cover-up in one of America's deadliest prison systems. And they do this with the use of cell phones. Basically, contraband cell phones. They use these to record messages to some filmmakers that are in the outside world and tell them like, hey, this stuff's going on. This happened. They're trying to cover this up. And it takes place over a couple of years, I think. But yeah, it's kind of a tough watch, but I do highly recommend it. And one of the films is directed by Andrew Jarecki and Charlotte Kaufman. Charlotte Kaufman I'm not that familiar with, but you may have forgotten his name, are familiar with Andrew Jarecki. He did Capturing the Freedmans.
Yes.
So
one of my favorite documentaries.
Yes.
In recent decades, yeah.
Yeah. So and it's a tough watch as well.
Yeah.
But so Alabama Solution, and I really haven't
Alabama Solutions. I'm just not familiar with this at all.
Haven't kept track of his work, but so I saw his name. I was like, the name sounds familiar, and found out he was involved in this, and just like the journalism of tracking what's going on, and yeah, it's a good story, or interesting story, I should say.
Right.
Sad, but yeah, Alabama Solution, HBO Max. It's worth seeing. So
interesting. No, that's a completely new one. Thank you for that. Wow. Okay. Yeah. I'm pulling this up for the first time. Was not familiar with it whatsoever. So
yeah,
very interesting.
Documentaries, I've recommended. This is like, I guess you get towards the end of the year and you get the kind of the serious, and this obviously is one of the serious ones that's out there. There's some others that I'll save recommendations for future shows, but this is one that I feel like people should kind of try to catch up with if they can. So, is there any? I mean, not that I have to put like award labels on everything. Has it won awards?
No, but I'm saying, is this at all? Do you think in contention for like a best documentary?
I feel like it probably is. Yeah, and it helps that it's on something like HBO Max, because that way a lot of people have the capability to see it.
Yeah,
and it tends to be if you look at scoring on Letterboxd, it's pretty well rated. So
actually, yeah. So Variety, I kind of always look at their predictions of what they think nominees. They've got the Alabama Solution as one of their 5 predicted nominees for Best Documentary Feature. Great.
So, yeah.
How many of these have you seen? The Perfect Neighbor.
Seen it.
2,000 Meters to Andriivika.
Have not seen that.
It's on PBS, so it might be a little, off the beaten path to find it. Alabama Solution, you mentioned. The Librarians.
Heard of it, have not seen it.
Okay, and then Come See Me in the Good Light. That is Apple original.
Apple, yeah. I haven't seen that. I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it. Okay,
that's again.
So
as much as you want to follow Variety, that's the 5. They say that's their predictions for Best Documentary Feature.
Perfect Neighbor. Not surprised that one's on there.
All right. So, interesting. Good. Yeah. Good. All right. Well, there again, I get to live vicariously through you, Chris, on some of these. I really had hoped I'd get a chance to catch up on some films over the breaks and have not. So still keep working on that.
There you go.
Unfortunately, we got to mention, we're going to have our Best of the Year show. When are we going to do that? Like, when do we need? How much time do you need to come up with to make sure you fulfilled your viewing of all films that you want to evaluate before you
we could probably do that on the next. I mean, we're having on-air production meeting. We could probably do that the next show, I guess, that we record.
So January 5th, like next Monday?
We could do that. Yeah.
Okay.
We're recording.
I'm going to tell you, my list is going to be pretty easy, pretty predictable.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sorry. I feel so bad. I have not kept up my end of the deal on watching as many movies as I need to. So, yeah, mine's not going to be there are not going to be any surprises or shocks or anything on it. It's ones we've talked about over the year, and that'll be my top 5. But anyway, for what it's worth.
Fair enough.
Well, we could either do on the 5th, or we could do give one more week cushion of time and do it on the 12th.
Okay. Why
don't we do it on the 12th?
Okay, 12th.
Why don't we, again, on-air production meeting, this is always fun. Why don't we review, oh no, we won't see Sentimental Value until after that date. I don't know what we're going to review. What comes out this weekend?
I don't know. You're the theater owner.
I know. Well, I'll go ahead and tell you, nothing. Nothing comes out this weekend. We've got nothing. We're still showing Song Sung Blue and Anaconda for another week, and Avatar, of course, because Avatar will be with us forever. Song Sung Blue's pretty good.
I've seen it.
You've seen that?
Yeah. On air production meeting, we could review that for Monday.
Why don't we do that?
Okay.
Why don't we do that? Because let's do that. And then on the 12th, January 12th, we'll record our best of 2025. That gives me a little bit more time to kind of maybe slide in a few more viewings of some things I want to check out in the meantime.
Okay, fair enough.
Good. Let's do that then. Everybody get that? Everybody listening? Got that on your notes? You got your calendar up to date? Okay, that's the plan. All right, Chris. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up then. So if anybody wants to dialogue with us and talk about anything, we did our review of Hamnet, your review of Avatar Fire and Ash, your recommendation of the Alabama solution, or just any interest in either Digger or Disclosure Day coming out in 2026, how can they get a hold of us to talk about it more?
You can send an email to info@footcandle.org. You can leave us a voicemail via the contact page on the mesh.tv website. You can follow us on Facebook at Foot Candle Film Society, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, Twitter. We're just at Foot Candle Film. Al and I are also on Letterboxd, where we try to track what we're seeing and leave quick takes sometimes. Do us a favor. If you like the show, consider giving us a star rating, write a review, or share with friends whatever service you receive your favorite podcasts on, because it'll help us reach new listeners, and we'd always appreciate that.
All right. Well, that'll wrap us up. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We'll look forward to talking to you next time we get together here on Foot Candle Films. Until then, take care. We'll see you soon.
See you in the ticket line.
Watch films in the company of like-minded people in the dark. Watch films in the underground. We won't let anyone know where you are. The films that don't make it to Carmike at the mall, or ones that were famous when Grandpa would watch films out of the reverence of the heritage of an art. Watch films through the courtesy of Foot Candle Film Society.
Special thanks to Carpal Tuller for the show theme music. For more about Carpal Tuller, visit www.carpaltuller.com. You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.